This is why abortion is still legal. Government schools. The public school system in America is a recent historical innovation. Before factory schooling existed, education was primarily handled privately by families. The church was integral to this endeavor in supporting local communities. Compulsory schooling steadily replaced this model, preventing the transmission of distinctively Christian values and a scriptural world and life view to the next generation. This led to a different philosophy about what school is and what education is for. Prior to this, the emphasis of education was making whole men and women who live to serve God faithfully in every area of life. This was accomplished by showing that all subjects can only be known rightly as they are seen in relation to Christ and His Lordship. All things find their coherence in the divine logos. Once education was surrendered by families and given to the state, this was no longer the case. Now public schools, administrative boards, and departments of education have become little more than tools for producing compliant citizens to a messianic state, teaching them the tenets of a secular religion that says God is irrelevant in all the endeavors of life. Modern-day schools are government indoctrination centers, implementing standardized curriculums through structures of robotic efficiency. In this system, man's will and his institutions are viewed as the ultimate reality, as well as the final authority. How does this relate to abortion? Roe v. Wade was handed down by the SCOTUS, and for 5 decades, pro-lifers of all stripes, even Christians, taught our nation that when the government speaks from on high, all we can do is obey, even if they're commanding us to stand by and allow innocent blood to be shed in our land. Where did we learn this? Where were we taught things like, just do what works, or what's true for you isn't true for me, and everyone's morality should be presented as a valid choice? This is not coincidental. Our children have been sent day after day, year after year into the belly of the beast to have their foundations and familial bonds eroded. They have been taught to comply with the dictates of evil men in authority rather than defy evil decrees when they conflict with the Word of God. They've been instructed to rely on pragmatism rather than stand on principle. They've been discipled to see their beliefs as one option among many, as long as they give ultimate allegiance to the God of pure democracy. With no understanding of the Christian principles their own nation was built upon. And unfortunately, many Christians continue to send their children to Caesar to be conformed into the image of man and his exalted will as embodied in the state. So what is the way forward? First, we must recover the perspective of education that made our nation great in the first place. This means taking back the responsibility for the discipleship of our children. We must see that health, welfare, and education are assigned to the family, not the government. Secondly, we must recover a Christian view of government that puts the state in its rightful place, underneath the lordship of Jesus Christ. After all, the state is not the ultimate authority. Morality is not what they say it is. They are accountable to the King of Kings and His law. This is what we must teach our children as we seek to transfer a glorious inheritance and deliver to them the faith that preserves the culture of life.